Hey everyone, welcome to Rev Games Academy. In this tutorial, we're bringing characters to life with smooth running and jumping animations. We'll set it up so the character runs when you press the up arrow and jumps with the space bar. It's simple, fun, and incredibly rewarding. So, let's jump right in and get started. First, we need a 3D character and some animations. Head over to Mixamo and download 3 animations along with a character. Start with an idle animation to keep the character in a natural stance. Next, grab a run animation for movement. And finally, a jump animation to complete the basics. When downloading, make sure to select FBX for Unity as the format and choose Without Skin to keep file sizes small since we're using the same character model for all animations. Once downloaded, we're ready to bring them into Unity. Here's our character and animations imported into Unity. Now, let's set up the character's rig. Select the character model, go to the Rig tab, set animation type to humanoid, and hit Apply. Done. Now let's place it in the scene. Every character needs a ground to walk on, right? Let's create one. In the hierarchy, click the plus icon, go to 3D Object, and select Plane. There it is! Now let's adjust it a bit. Nice. Let me check if there's any material applied. This plain material looks good. Actually, I did this only for clearer visibility, that's all. Now, drag and drop our player into the scene like this. There we go. Let me tweak the scene view a bit for a better angle. Little adjustment in camera just for our perfect view. And to make sure our character doesn't feel cramped, let's scale up the plane like this. Perfect! The plane and character are all set up. Now let's bring this character to life with movement. We'll do this with some super simple coding. First, let's create a script for our player. Select the player game object, go to the inspector, click Add Component, type player script or whatever name you like. Click New Script, then Create. Done! Before we start coding, let's set up our animations. In the project window, right-click, go to Create, and select Animator Controller. Rename it. Now, open it, and drag and drop the 3 animations into it. Make sure the idle animation is the default entry animation. It should be highlighted in orange. Now let's add 2 Boolean parameters, one called isRunning and another called jump. These will be used in our code based on movement and jump conditions. Next, let's set up transitions. Create a transition from idle to running with the condition that isRunning is true, like this, and reverse the transition when it's false, like this. For jumping, create a transition from any state to jump when jump bool is set to true, like this. And then, when returning to the previous state, we'll check if isRunning is true so that the character doesn't switch back to idle if it was already moving. I'll explain why in the code part. And also, transition to idle when isRunning is false, so the character returns to idle after jumping instead of staying in another state. Next, we'll work on the script part. Open our player script by clicking on it. All right, we're inside the script now. You can see the code I've written already. Kept it as simple as possible. Here's the plan. When we press the up arrow, the character moves forward. Left and right arrows will turn the character, and the spacebar will trigger the jump. We'll use the animation parameters for these conditions. Simple and effective. Let's get started. Here, I have the reference of the Animator. Then, these float values handle movement and rotation. The update function is used since it runs every frame, ensuring continuous movement. This line controls forward and backward movement. It activates when you press the up or down arrows. It returns the axis value, which is then multiplied by move speed to adjust the speed. Similarly, this next line handles horizontal movement with the left and right arrows, multiplied by turn speed to control rotation speed. Now, this part applies the movement value z-axis for forward and backward motion and y-axis for rotation. Then I set is running to true whenever the move value is greater than 0. This ensures the running animation plays when the character moves, following our animator conditions. Finally, for jumping, the if condition checks when the space key is pressed. At that moment, I set the jump bool to true so the jump animation plays. In the else block, I reset it to false, and that's it. This code is enough. Now, let's go back to the scene. Okay, we're in the scene now. First, add an animator component to the player. I already have one, so I'll simply assign my created animator controller to it. Also, I'll assign it to the script's reference as well. Next, we need to set the idle and run animations to loop mode since they need to play continuously. But for the jump animation, we'll leave it as it is since it should only play once per jump. Next, in the animator, untick has exit time for all transitions except those coming from the jump animation. This ensures that the jump animation plays fully before transitioning to any other state. One more thing. Drag the main camera in the hierarchy to make it a child of the player. This way, the camera will follow the player as they move, adjust its position if needed for a better view. That's it! Everything is set up. Let's run and test it now. Nice. The character runs smoothly thanks to the correct move speed value. The jump looks great too. Rotation speed feels good, but if you need any adjustments, you can tweak it in the scene as needed. Here, you can see the animator's transitions and bool value changes happening in real time based on my key presses. And that's a wrap. Our character now moves, runs, and jumps smoothly with proper animations. You can follow this same process to set up any character in your game, adjusting movement speed, rotation, and animations as needed. The best part, you can expand on this by adding more animations, effects, or even custom controls. Hope you found this tutorial helpful. Keep animating, stay creative, explore new ideas, and happy animating.